So now, as more of the truth comes out on this Ohio shooting suspect, described himself as a socialist, a communist, a Marxist, because that's what it is. Advocated violence against fascists, he calls it. So these radical socialist, communist Marxists, these young punk kids, I'll say it again, young radical punk ass kids, think they're going to go into these cities and shoot up and kill whoever they feel like it. That's what you got out here, a bunch of these young, degenerate, pathetic, ill-educated, punk-ass kids. Look at him. Still dripping wet behind the ears. He thinks he's got all the answers to life. I'd be real interested in the coming weeks to find out just where it is that he held a real job at. When he's not living in his mommy's basement. Let's get on with the story. Ohio shooting suspect Connor Betts was a registered Democrat who posted pro-socialist content on a social media account along with repeated indications that he favored gun control, violence against fascists and white supremacists, and Satanism. See how it goes? And Satanism. Betts described himself as a leftist on his Twitter profile and used hashtags on one selfie that included selfie for Satan. Right there. You see where it is? Selfie for Satan and Hail Satan. Now, most of you, if you don't know, a lot of these communist scumbags, socialist scumbags, Marxist scumbags are terrorists. That's what Antifa is, and that's what this punk is. He's an Antifa creep. An Antifa creep. That's exactly what he is. Ain't gonna deny it, because that's what he is. He can try to lie about it. CNN and MSNBC can try to lie about it. But these are radical young punks, often doped up on drugs, prescription drugs, whatever kind of illegal dope and drugs they have, because that's what they are. They think they got all the answers in life. They don't even know what socialism is. If it did, they'd have their ass down there in Venezuela living a life, wouldn't they? That's how fucking stupid they are. If socialism, communism's so fucking great, then why don't you hop your little ass on down there to Venezuela or Cuba? Take a ride on your mommy's credit card. Being you don't have the money to foot the bill on your own, maybe your mommy and daddy or mommy could foot the bill for you permanently. Then you can live the dream of socialism. You degenerate, low-life, punk-ass piece of shit. Says Betts also shared some more news that were anti-Republican, including one from host Cody Johnston that claimed the president wants to shoot migrants at the border. God, these kids are fucked up. Betts also repeatedly indicated his support for gun control. One writing in missive, "This is America. Guns on every corner. Guns in every house. No freedom but to kill. In another, he said he loved his guns. And this was his Twitter page, I guess. Flowers for Adamisk. I am the spookster. I want socialism. And I will not wait for the idiots to finally come around to understanding it. Jesus Christ. Well, if you want it so bad, hop your little ass on down there to Venezuela and Cuba. Hop on your mommy's credit card. Hop your degenerate ass down there one way and don't come back. And that goes for the rest of you piece of shit young ass punks. Don't have a clue what the fuck you're talking about. You're ridiculous. Betts described immigration detention centers as concentration camps. I wonder where he got that idea. Ocasio-Cortez. Writing, cut the fences down, slice ice tires, throw bolt cutters over the fence. Cut the fences down, slice ice tires. Boy, it sure sounds to me like it's the Democrats, the Socialists, and the Communists, and the Liberals that are the ones that are violent. And then you got CNN and MSNBC who try to spin it around. Like the degenerate scumbags that they are. The hyperbolic language popularized by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Democrat from New York, a commie, a socialist, was also used recently by a 69-year-old Antifa member who attacked an immigration facility in Washington State before being shot dead. Yep, well, he was a terrorist. See, these radical, communist, socialist are the terrorists to this country. And that goes for Ocasio-Cortez, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, the entire Democratic Party, the entire Democratic Liberal Socialist Communist Party, including Bernie Sanders, who hasn't worked a day in his frickin' life. He's another scumbag. Betts said he supported Elizabeth Warren and indicated support for Ocasio-Cortez, sharing an article about House Majority Leader Nancy Pelosi, Democrat of California, not supporting AOC and her cohorts and telling his followers to read it. The alleged shooter also published violence against the so-called fascist, which actually they are the fascist. In one case, he replied to a BuzzFeed story and wrote, "Kill every fascist." He shared an article from the New Republic about an alleged global fascist movement and shared posts doxing people who users said, or users attended a pro-Ku Klux Klan rally in Dayton. In one post, Betts wrote, "I want socialism, and I will not wait for the idiots to finally come around to understanding." Well, if you want it, take your ass on down there to Venezuela, Cuba. You want it so fucking bad. You degenerate piece of shit. You went and shot up a whole bunch of people for no reason because you're angry. Yeah, if I didn't know any better, you were on Ritalin or prescription drugs or illegal drugs. Look at this little shit. Looks to me like he stayed too long in his mommy's basement playing video games. That's what most of these young degenerate punks are. They stay down in their mommy's basement playing video games for hours on end They don't do anything. They don't do chores. Don't mow the grass. Don't take out the trash. Pretty bad. And this is what we've raised these punk kids to be. Get a good look at him. Murdered a whole bunch of people because he's mad. These communist, socialist, scumbag terrorists. Well, I sure hope you like your prison stay for the next 100 and some odd years, because you're going to get it. If you don't receive the death penalty, which I think you should. As soon as the trial's over and you're convicted, you ought to be put down like the rabid dog you are. Within 30 days. Within 30 days. None of this hanging around for 3 to 5, 15, 25 years. You need to be put down within 30 days. Get rid of your ass. That goes for the rest of you, too. If you don't like it in this country, and you're that unhappy, then pack your ass up and get the hell out. That goes for the rest of you Antifa and Antifa scumbags wearing your masks, beating people up because you think you're going to rule the country. Well, I got news for you. Don't ever let me see you doing it. Because there won't be any pushing and shoving matches. There won't be any verbal warnings. You remember that, you young punks. You're disgusting. You're anti-American. And you're a scumbag. The man who allegedly carried out the Elpaso, Texas mass shooting over the weekend left behind a manifesto that police confirmed he likely wrote. It said the attack was carried out as a response to the Hispanic invasion of Texas. Now we're going to get more into this because it's a fraud. They are the instigators, not me. I am simply defending my country from cultural and ethnic replacement brought on by an invasion. Patrick Carrillis wrote. Some people will think this statement is hypothetical because of the nearly complete ethnic and cultural destruction brought to the Native Americans by our European ancestors. I guarantee he didn't write all this. This was copy and pasted. The natives didn't take the invasion of Europeans seriously, and now what's left is just shadow of what was. Well, he don't look like he's on drugs. Only one little problem with his manifesto. We'll get into that in a minute. It's a fraud. I still have the snapshot, the screenshot of how he changed his affiliation. From Democrat to Republican. Hours before he did this. Let's throw that up right now. Despite what the news media reports, I believe these two were working in conjunction with one another. Because here on the left, you've got it. He's got wrote that he's a member of the Democratic Party, political party Democrat. And over to the right, you've got Republican Party, member of the NRA, follower of, I can't remember, see what it says. It says registered as a Republican Ethnicity is Caucasian, and religious views are listed Christian, member of the NRA, and follower of Annan, Prudence Louisan, whatever that is, Melissa, Susan Davis, and many others are family members and associates. Political party, Republican. Ethnicity, African American. You see that down there right below the birthday, 7/27/98. It says ethnicity, African American. Now, either that was a mistake or he screwed up. But he went from being a Democrat, ethnicity unknown, and religious views are listed as unknown. This was a setup. Both of these young punks were working in conjunction with one another. Despite what CNN, MSNBC, NPR, and all the other liberal news outlets, this is a smoking gun right here. What you have on your screen right here is the smoking gun. These young punks have been radicalized by the Democratic, Communist, Socialist, Marxist regime to overthrow the United States of America and constantly continue to ruin this country. And if it means having to kill and murder and maim, they don't care. They want their socialism, their communism, and free shit. Free shit. And they don't care how it's done. I believe, given the circumstances, that these two worked in conjunction with one another and had planned this out. News media may not come out and tell you this, but one decided to go with the Democratic, Socialist, Communist, Marxist Party, and the other one decided to change his stripes to throw everybody off, investigators, FBI, to throw them off, hoping that nobody would notice. These two worked in conjunction with one another, hours apart, to do this. There is no doubt in my mind. These two have an agenda, and it's to overthrow the United States and throw us into a civil war, because this is what the Democratic, Communist, Socialist, Marxist, liberals want. This is their agenda, is to do exactly what you've just seen. Despite what liberal news media tells you, and they will not air this, this is what the Democratic, liberal, Socialist, Communist, Marxist want: to destroy the United States and brainwash these young kids. Watch live. Antifa begins violent assaults against Trump supporters at free speech rally. Far left vowed to bring violence at demand free speech event despite heavy police presence. And this is what we have out here: these Democratic, Communist, Socialist, Marxist, scumbag terrorists who are going to assault people who don't agree with their agenda. And most of them are young punks. Young, skinny-ass punks who dress up with masks. They have ball bats, and they hit and maim people and throw stuff at them, from milkshakes to ball bats to ball bearings. We've seen what happened in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington. This is what the young generation, these communist, Marxist, socialist punks, people like AOC and the Squad, they should never have been allowed into office in the first place. If they don't like it here, then get your ass out of the fucking country. Go to Venezuela or Cuba. But don't come over here killing and maiming everybody. Make no mistake, they want a civil war, an uprising, bloodshed. These communist, radical, democratic, liberal, socialist, Marxist. This is what they want. This is their agenda. What you're seeing here are not cops. These are communist, socialist, Marxist, radicals. What you're seeing right here are radical, communist, Marxist, socialist of the Democratic Liberal Party. And this is exactly what they want. And people like Maxine Waters and AOC and Bernie Sanders and the rest of them are all too happy to destroy this country. And they're going to blame Trump, or try to, but it isn't going to work because now the cat's out of the bag. These lefty radicals, they're terrorists. They are terrorists.